We have maybe about close to 70% of our luxury bookings are direct, so not via any resellers or OTAs or travel agencies. And I think what really allowed us to get that level to this date of direct customer is the press, more so than the paid advertising, more so than the SEO. The very first month of us running tours in Iceland back in 2017, I was introduced to a journalist from Condé Nast Traveler, and they were really interested in what we had to say and what we had to do. So they wrote a nice little piece on Hidden Iceland. And literally, we went from one or two people going onto our website every day and booking to quadruple that, which at the time was a big influx of numbers. So we saw sales and interest in our company rise really rapidly based on one article. So that kind of gave us this belief that press is much more impactful and important than we could ever really would have thought beforehand. So since then, a big chunk of my job is trying to find journalists, to speak to publications, to run press trips, to do interviews, whatever it is, to just try and get people to write nice things about us. And I really look at it not as a case of, look how great Hidden Iceland is. I say, let's just talk about the cool things in Iceland. And then you mention us, and that seems to be a better way for people to get engaged. And to this date, we've just mostly from just off our own back of attempts and meeting people, we've had maybe 450 different articles written about us, from Condé Nast to Travel and Leisure. We were in CNN at one point, Forbes, Photos. I'm forgetting a whole bunch now, but a lot of reputable companies, and a lot of it really was just creating a meaningful connection with the individual journalist or person, and either inviting them to travel with us or just doing a nice conversation and turning into a story. Honestly, I would say that's the big difference between us and other companies who maybe just spend a lot of money on Facebook ads and Meta ads and Google ads, because that's a really expensive way to find customers and not always necessarily the best way, because it's easy enough to sell something of a relatively low cost via that method. But if you're trying to convince someone to spend $20,000 or more on a luxury holiday, are they going to connect with you in the same way if they just find a random ad online? Sometimes, but I wouldn't say that that's the only way we can really create those methods of finding customers.
I mean, I think especially amongst the new entrepreneur, they think a lot of solutions are digital solutions. Run more ads, come up with a better marketing, better website. And you're sort of reminding us, like, go out, meet journalists, reach out, have conversations, make relationships, and like those pay a totally different kind of dividend.
Yeah, and the reason we came up with this strategy, I mean, it was not solely myself. I don't want to take full credit for it, but I literally wrote a dissertation at university on relationship marketing. And this was following a job I used to do where I was like doing cold call sales in person and over the phone. And I sold stuff, but let's just say there was no resale value. There was no relationship built. So there was a lot of effort and money put into selling whatever it was. And then we had to just keep spending more money on finding new customers. And at the time I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So I wrote an entire dissertation on the sport and recreation side on relationship building and how that can turn into long, meaningful relationships. So that mantra from university followed through to when we set up the company Hidden Iceland. And I just thought, let's keep doing what I suggested, and that's building relationships. And those can sometimes turn directly into a sale, or they can take, as you mentioned earlier, they can take weeks, months, or years to turn into something tangible. And that's okay. You just create those meaningful connections, and then you get introductions. Then you get people wanting to help you, and vice versa. It's just a nice way to run the company and a very nice way to act as a business person.